Hey, this is Jody at Jody's Music. Welcome to our channel, and we're talking about the A minor pentatonic scale today. So we're going to talk about the minor pentatonic. I'm going to show you 4 easy riffs to play on guitar that are very important for playing rock and roll. First thing I want to tell you before we get started is you have to know the A minor pentatonic scale. And I'm going to point that out to you right now. It's in the key of A. It looks like this. If you're a guitar player and you understand your strings and your frets, I'm on the 6th string, 5th fret, then the 8th fret on the same string. Now I'm going to drop down to the 5th string and go from the 5th fret to the 7th fret. And then I'm going to drop down to the 4th string and do the same thing. 5th fret to the 7th fret. Then again I'm going to drop down to the 3rd string and go from the 5th fret to the 7th fret. And on the 2nd string I'm going to go from the 5th fret to the 8th fret. And the same thing on the very bottom string, the 1st string, 5 to the 8th fret. This is a very important scale to play rock and roll and blues. So before you try any of these licks, you probably want to work that scale up and down, going backwards and forward. Or like some instructors call it, ascending and descending through the notes, from high to low to high. The other thing you want to work on is alternating the pick up and down. One note must go down, the other note goes up. There's 2 notes per string in the scale, so the pick must constantly go up and down to achieve some speed. Okay, so here's the first lick we're going to do. And I want to point out that Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin uses these type of licks a lot. So if you want to learn some Led Zeppelin, learn these type of licks. In this scale, there's a lot of players, especially in blues and rock and roll, who use a lot of bending techniques on these. It's not just playing the notes, but also bending on certain strings. The first riff or lick I'm going to show you, we're going to take the 3rd string on the 7th fret and bend that note, like so. Notice I'm putting 2 fingers behind that to help give leverage, so that these 2 fingers, the index and the middle, are actually pushing up on the string up toward the sky, while the ring finger is pretty much just fretting the note, so that I can get that note up to the pitch in the next note in the scale. So after I bend this, I'm going to play the 2nd string at the 5th fret. And then the last note I'm going to play is the 1st string at the 5th fret. So in this riff, I'm only playing 3 notes. 3rd string, 2nd string, and 1st string. And there it is. That's a very important lick. Even Chuck Berry in the 50s was covering this lick. And there's our first riff. Another technique going through the scale is something called hammer-ons and pull-offs, where we don't pick the notes, we hammer onto them. Like for instance, I'm playing the 1st note again of the scale, and with the pinky, I'm going to hammer hard onto the next note, not picking that note, just letting the finger hammer down like the key of a piano, hitting the note hard. So there's 1 pick, but you're hearing 2 notes. The opposite of that is called a pull-off, where we play with the pinky and pull. After we pick, we pull that off as if we're plucking with the left hand to the 5th fret. So hammer, pull. After you're through working the scale up and using the pickup for alternation, such as this again, you want to work on your hammer and pull techniques. Going forward or ascending through the scale, you would do your hammer-ons. Going in reverse is when we do the pull-off. Flick it off. Flick it off. I showed you that technique because the second lick I want to show you incorporates the pull-off a lot. What we're going to do is we're going to play the 1st string at the 8th fret and pull off to the 5th fret. Then we're going to go to the second string and do the same exact thing. The last note I'm going to play is on the third string, 7th fret. So actually I'm going to play 5 notes in this riff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Such as that. So you're playing the key A with your buddies or downloading some backing tracks to play over. You got a blues groove going, you can go. And that's that riff. This next riff I'm going to give you is only played on the first 2 strings, and we're still in the same pattern. So I'm playing 5 on the second string. I'm going to hammer onto the 8th fret, such as that. And then I'm going to go to the first string and do the same exact thing, 5 to 8. So in our riff here, lick number 3, I'm going to only have 4 notes in this. 1, 2, 3, 4. A lot of times in rock and roll and blues, guys will sit there and dwell on a certain part of a scale, like 4 notes, and just keep repeating that over and over. Listen to Jimmy Page play his with Led Zeppelin. You're going to find out, and especially in Stairway to Heaven, that he does a lot of those techniques where he keeps repeating the same riffs over and over while the chord changes are taking place over him. So between him repeating that same 4 notes or 5 notes in his riff, and there's chord changes taking place over that, makes it sound like there's a whole lot more going on, even though the guitar player is just doing the same thing over and over. This third lick that I'm talking about with this hammer looks something like this. Could be used over multiple chord changes. Like let's say I'm playing the key A to D. Over that you could sit there over both changes and sit there going. And that works perfectly over that chord progression. Okay, the last riff that I'm going to do, this is a tough one. It's a little bit more intricate because I'm going to do a string skip. Anytime you're on one string and you have to skip over another string, it makes the pick technique a little bit more difficult. So here's what we're going to do. This last riff, using the A minor pentatonic scale again, I'm going to start this riff off on the 5th string, 5th fret, and I'm going to hammer right to the 7th fret. So I got this. Then I'm going to skip over the 3rd string and go from the 5th fret to the 7th fret. Another hammer on. So I got. It's a great little exercise because you got to skip over the 4th string so the pick is constantly dancing from the 3rd string to the 5th string. And that's it. That's your 4th riff. Hey, if you like this video, click the like button and subscribe. Thank you. Hey, Doc! I'm recording something over here, so be quiet for a minute.
Oh, I'm sorry.